everyone, it's Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today filming from inside my truck at camp, trying to get a place where I'm out of the wind and have some natural light and can have a decent conversation with you all. Because today I'd like to discuss grief and a book called Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. This is a book that came into my life a while ago, and it's been sitting on my TBR shelf, and it finally, oh, look at that. Sorry about the little dog showing up in the background there. That's my son's chocolate lab puppy, and he is a great deal of fun, but he's always all over the place. So anyway, this is a book, Being Mortal, which I have right here, and it's white, so it's gonna, the color is gonna show poorly in this video, and I'll just show you what the cover looks like, just like that, and then I'm going to put it down. So like I said, this has been on my TBR shelf for quite a while. I found it at a used bookstore and picked it up for a real cheap price, like $2 or something, because it's been everywhere. I mean, everybody praises it. It's been a bestseller, and you know, it's seems to be universally acknowledged as a good book. The subtitle of this book is Medicine and What Matters in the End. And the reason why I read this book in the last week was because a week ago, we lost my father-in-law to his battle with cancer. And it wasn't unexpected, but that doesn't make it any easier to deal with. You know, the grief of losing somebody that's been in your life. In my case, he's been in my life for the last 28 years. Of course, my husband, losing a dad. It's difficult, you know, and like in many ways in my life, when I'm upset or stressed out or pretty much any kind of emotion, I turn to books and reading. And I remembered that I had this book on my TBR shelf, and I thought, this might be a good book to read right now. And it was an excellent book to read at this time for me. This book is about how we deal with aging, and not just aging, but the undeniable fact that we're all going to die. And in the United States and in Western cultures in general, because we have such advanced medical opportunities, we often, are treated in anytime that there's something life-threatening happening with us, our doctors treat it as a battle to be faced. We talk about it as a battle to be faced. You know, everybody's talked about it when we're battling a disease, we're fighting against a medical condition. And cancer seems to be one of those ones that is very much considered a battle situation, and it's certainly something in which in Western medicine, it's something to be defeated, and nothing is withheld in terms of medical treatment. Everything is thrown at the problem. And that's certainly what we experienced with my father-in-law. He was 67 years old, 65 when it was first diagnosed with it, turned 66 soon after. And, it was treatment after treatment after treatment, and I'm not sure he got a year and a half and he lived at home. He did not have to be in the hospital or anything like that during that time period. But I'm not sure that's, were we really dealing with the best quality of life that he could have at that point? And that's what this book talks about, is how can we give people the best quality of life, regardless of the fact that they have a terminal illness. And why doesn't medicine deal more with providing people with that quality of life? Why don't doctors talk more to their patients about what it is that they want to accomplish in the time that they have left? What are the things that matter most to them? What are the things that are most important to them that they be able to continue to do with the time that they have left? And none of us has that conversation. We don't have it with our family members. We don't have it with our doctors. And through this whole experience with my father-in-law, what I've realized is I need to start talking with my family, and so that my family can understand what my wishes are, as far as any kind of medical treatment, and what matters to me. And that's what this book really addresses, and I found it really helpful in helping me think about my own grief, and it was really helpful in helping me think about the broader picture as well. So Atul Gawande is a medical doctor himself. He has had to be in the position of talking with folks that have a terminal illness and talking about their care and what medical interventions to try or not try. So he talks about his experiences dealing with patients in that way. He talks about his personal experiences with his father, who had really severe medical illnesses, and how their family dealt with it. And in amongst these examples, and among other examples that he uses, his wife's grandmother, different people in his family, we learn about nursing home care in the United States. We learn about hospice care in the United States. We learn about how traditional surgeons and cancer doctors and things like that deal with terminal illness. And I found it completely compelling and fascinating. It was excellent. I learned a lot. That I need to know and that you need to know. We all need to know, because none of us is getting out of here alive, right? We're all going to be in this situation one way or the other at some point, whether it is ourselves, whether it's our parents, our grandparents, our spouse, a child, whatever. None of us is going to get through this life without having to deal with somebody who is terminally ill. And so the question then you should be asking yourself is, what's most important to me? What's most important to my family member? What is going to give them the highest quality of life for the time that they have left? And does that mean, gung-ho, full-on medical treatment and intervention? Is it full-on chemotherapy, radiation, really invasive surgeries, tubes and machines and all of that? Maybe it does. Maybe that's what, maybe you're going to get over that hump and you're going to have time at the end that will allow you to do the things that you love to do. But maybe not. And we need to ask doctors that question. And we need to ask the question of, if I'm not going to have that quality of life, then what's the point? I want to have the best quality of life that I can in the time that I have. So that's what this book really addresses. Again, sorry, because this is a white book and it's fading out on this lighting, but that's what we all should be asking ourselves, and we should be talking about this with our families. And I think this book is wonderful for providing examples and case studies, and written in a highly readable, just very compassionate way. I just think that Atul Gawande is an excellent writer. I had read his book, The Checklist Manifesto, in the past and really enjoyed that book as well. I think he's an amazing writer, considering he's also a medical doctor. The fact that he can write like this is like, it's really unfair when people are really awesome at multiple things. So, but I think that it's definitely a book that everybody should read. And I think it really does help you think about periods of our lives where we don't want to think about it in advance, but sometimes it's for the best that we do. So I highly recommend Being Mortal. I think it's a wonderful, it was a wonderful experience for me to be able to read this book in the particular time that I read it. It was very helpful to me in working through my own grief at the loss of my father-in-law. And I think that it's something that you might want to check out. So I hope you're all doing well wherever you are, and I will talk to you later.